Assalamu alaikum viewers, hope all of you are fine by the grace of Almighty Allah. Today I am going to explain the chapter number 9 of the class 12th English book. That's a poem written by Robert Frost. Robert Frost is an American poet. The title of the poem is After Apple Picking. After Apple Picking by Robert Frost. Apple picking means apple harvesting. Harvesting of a crop or of a fruit means collection of crops, collection of fruits from the fields, from the trees. Harvesting is a seasonal activity. Different crops ripen in different seasons. They are accordingly harvested from the fields, and this harvesting involves many, we can say, sub-activities. So this harvesting of a particular crop is done in a particular season. That's why we say harvesting of a crop is a seasonal activity. For the harvesting of crops like paddy, wheat, pulses, the crops need to be cut with the help of things like scythe, sickle, or modern people also use the sophisticated reapers. As far as the harvesting of apple is concerned, it is altogether a different task from the harvesting of other crops. For the harvesting of apple, we need ladder, we need a wicker truck basket, we need rope, we need apple packing boxes. You know how apples are picked? A person climbs an apple tree, he plucks the apples one by one, collects the apples in the wicker truck basket. When the basket is filled with apples, the basket is tied with a rope. The apple picker drops the rope down very carefully. And on the ground, another person collects the basket. He unloads the basket in a tent or at other place of the garden or of the orchard. He collects the apples in a heap. And finally, the apples are packed in apple packing boxes. You know, sometimes an apple picker is not able to pluck the apples of the outer branches, the apples of the higher branches, or the apples of the faraway branches, because the outer branches are tender, soft. They may break, and an apple picker has every chance of falling down. So he has to take care of himself. He has also to take the care of apples, because the apples should not fall to the ground. If an apple falls to the ground from the tree, the apple is bruised and that apple loses its worth. I personally recommend all of you to spend a few days in the harvesting of a crop, maybe in the reaping of paddy, or maybe in the plucking of apples, because by doing this activity you'll grow stronger. Your inner sources like sympathy, tolerance, patience, care, love, attitude will grow. You'll become a better person. So you at least try, you find an opportunity to spend some days in the harvesting of crops, because it is not as easy as all that as we think. Now, as far as the title of this poem, After Apple Picking, is concerned, from the surface it looks like that this poem is about apple picking, maybe about a person who is picking apples, about this activity. That's true. I told you this poem is a symbolic poem. In this poem, we are going to see many symbols. The usage of words, symbolism means usage of symbols, which refer to other things. Sometimes poet uses words or things to refer to other things, to refer to other ideas, other concepts. For example, we sometimes use the word rose, especially red rose, to refer to love, to symbolize romance. We use the word dove to symbolize peace, to mean peace. And we use the word chain to symbolize, to mean union or imprisonment. Depends on the context. Sometimes chain may be used as a symbol of union, and sometimes it may be used as a symbol of imprisonment. In this poem, after apple picking, we are going to see different symbols. The poet has used many symbols in this poem, which apparently from the surface mean one thing, but the poet wants to convey some deeper meaning, other meaning, through those symbols, through those words, or through those objects. Personally, this poem is my favorite poem. I would like all the viewers to go through this poem and try to understand this poem from the text itself. And I'm sure most of the people, after reading this poem 3 times, 4 times, or even 5 times, will fail to understand this poem completely, because I'm telling you again, this poem is a symbolic poem. Apparently, this poem looks like the story of an apple picker. The person, apple picker himself, is a symbol who has been used to symbolize all the professions in the world. Every kind of task, every kind of work, every kind of profession in the world is symbolized by the apple picker. So let's go through the text of the poem. My long 2-pointed ladder is sticking through a tree. Self-explanatory line. An apple picker says, my long 2-pointed ladder is sticking through a tree, is inclined towards a tree, toward heaven situ. The tree has been described as the heaven. For an apple picker, a tree full of apples is not less than a heaven. That's why the poet here says, my ladder is towards my heaven. And there is a barrel that I didn't fill. Beside it, there may be 2 or 3 apples. I didn't pick upon some bough. But I am done with apple picking now. A sense of winter sleep is on the night. The scent of apples I am drowsing off. I cannot rub the strings from my sight. I got from looking through a pane of glass. I skimmed this morning from the drinking trough and held against the world of hoary grass. It melted, I let it fall and break. But I was well upon my way to sleep before it fell, and I could tell what from my dreaming was about to take. Magnified apples appear and disappear, situm and blossom and every fleck of russet showing clear. My instep arch not only keeps the ache, it keeps the pressure of a ladder round. I feel the ladder sway as the boughs bend, and I keep hearing from the cellar bin the rumbling sound of load on load of apples coming in, for I have had too much of apple picking. I am overtired of the great harvest I myself desired. There were 10,000 fruits to touch. Cherish in hand, lift down, not let to fall. For all that struck the earth, no matter, if not bruised or spiked with the stubble, went surely to the cider apple heap, as of no worth. One can see what will trouble this sleep of mine, whatever sleep it is. Why he not gone? The woodchuck could say whether it is like his long sleep, as I described it is coming on, or just some human sleep. On a deeper level, the poem has a deep meaning. Apparently the poem looks like a tale, a story of an apple picker. But on a deeper level, this poem is a tale of every person. It's a story of every person. The poet says in the first lines that my land is towards an apple tree, towards heaven. You see, this line is highly significant. It has a deep meaning. We can use this phrase to describe any person. After all, ladder signifies way, it signifies road, it signifies path. Everybody's ladder is towards heaven. Everybody's path leads him towards his grave. The apple picker says, I've got a barrel which I'm unable to fill quickly. Every person has got a psyche. Every person has got a psyche which is unable to satisfy. Every person has got a belly which he is unable to fulfill throughout his life. Every person has got ambitions which he never fulfills throughout his life. No matter how rich, how competitive a person is. The poet says there are some apples which he is unable to pick upon some bough. Regardless of how talented a person is, a person does not accomplish everything, all the dreams of his life. A person is bound to commit a few mistakes in his life. As an apple picker is unable to pick some apples from some bough. The apple picker says, I'm overtired. Every person is tired at the end of one's life. And every person sees strange things, illusions at the end of one's life. A person sees illusions. A person is unable to perceive the world correctly. As if a person looks through a sheet of ice. When we look through a sheet of ice, we will not be able to perceive the external world, the outer world, in a correct way. The same is the case with an elderly person. He is unable to perceive the world correctly. An apple picker is sure to dream about apples, about his job. I'm a teacher, I'm surely going to dream about my job. A doctor is surely going to dream about his job at the end of his life. This has a more deeper meaning. If a person has spent his life in fair ways, he's going to see fair things in his dreams. And if a person has been bad all through his life, is going to see bad dreams at the end of his life. But either way, a person is highly disturbed at the end of his life, is thoughtful, is highly thoughtful, is thoughtful regarding sleep. A person can see shades of death throughout this poem. The death is symbolized as sleep. The word sleep is also highly ambiguous. We can symbolize the word sleep to refer to many things. Number one, sleep. The word sleep may be used to refer to ordinary human sleep, as you sleep. The word sleep is also used to refer to hibernation. You know, many birds, many animals hibernate, sleep for longer spells of time, for say 2 months, 3 months, or 4 months, in response to certain harsh climatic conditions or in response to the shortage of food. When climatic conditions become harsh or when there is a shortage of food, to certain animals, what they do, they hibernate, they sleep for longer spells of time. In hibernation, they apparently need lesser amounts of energy. That's how they survive those times. So the word sleep also refers to hibernation, and the word sleep also symbolizes death. So the word sleep is used in the poem. There are references to the word sleep, and the word sleep is a symbol of as many as three things, three items. Throughout the poem, a person feels that an apple picker is highly concerned about himself, about his afterlife. And likely we can say that every person, regardless of his profession, let's take a doctor. Doctor is highly concerned about his life at the end of his life. In the same way, a teacher, a laborer, a mason, a carpenter, everybody is concerned at the end of one's life. Everybody is concerned about the afterlife at the end of one's life. And every person wants to get rid of his profession, he wants to get rid of his work, of his routine work at the end of his life. Just like an apple picker does not like apples, those apples which he sometime had desired. At some time in his life he had desired that may he have a good crop, a good yield of apples. But at some point of time he does not like those apples. That means he does not cherish those desires. At the end of one's life, what matters is that what a person has done in his life. If a person has done fair things, if a person has run his business in a fair way, he is going to see fair dreams in his life. And if a person has employed unfair means to run his business, surely he is going to see unfair things, bad things in his dreams at the end of his life. Thank you.